Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Digging Deeper moment number 223. The purpose of our Digging Deeper moments is to take God's Word to God's world, and we're so glad that you've joined us. If you would, please take a moment to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you. We've been in a series called Lost in Translation. In this series, we're looking at the strengths and weaknesses of the modern translation of the first sentence of the Bible as in the beginning when God created the heavens and the earth, instead of translating it as it has been for over 1,800 years, when it's translated, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Last week, we looked at the first of three reasons why I believe that something is being lost in the modern translation. The first being the timing of the change. We saw that the drift away from the traditional translation came at a very suspicious time, and for more on that, you might want to go back to Digging Deeper 222. Today, I want to share a second reason why I believe that the traditional translation is the better one, and that's the text itself. The text of the Old Testament that we possess today is called the Masoretic text. It's called this because a group of scribes copied this text from original text sometime between 500 and 1000 AD. Now, originally, Hebrew was written without vowels. So in order to preserve the text and the proper pronunciation of the text, these Masoretes added vowels and accent marks. And these vowels and accent marks help us not only pronounce the text, but it helps us understand what they believed the original text from which they were copying meant. And one of the main arguments made in the favor of the modern translation of Genesis 1:1 is the way that the Masoretes pointed the text with vowels and accent marks. Proponents of the modern translation believe that the Masoretes meant for us to translate Genesis 1:1 through 2 as, in the beginning, when God created the heavens and the earth was a formless void, and darkness covered the face of the deep, while a wind from God swept over the face of the waters. And while there are several complicated arguments used to make this claim, fortunately for us, they all crumble like a house of cards because of one little accent mark. In other words, this simplifies things. The first word of the Hebrew Bible is the word Barashith. It is written like this, and Jonathan will have this up on the screen for you. If you look at the W-looking letter, you will see a little mark under it that looks like a reverse comma. This is called a tipka. It's a disjunctive accent. What's that, Pastor Bob, you might ask? And I would say that's a great question. A disjunctive accent separates two words from each other. And the presence of this tipka lets the reader know two things. Number one, we need to stress that syllable in pronunciation. And secondly, we need to pause and not join the word that you're speaking, that would be barashit, with the word that follows, which is bara. Now this is significant because translating barashit as in the beginning when God created the heavens and the earth is dependent upon joining the first two words of the Hebrew text together. That would be barashit and bara. Bara means to create. And because these words are not joined together, the proper translation is, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Weston Fields writes in Unformed and Unfilled, another indication of the ancient opinion is the disjunctive tipka with which the Masoretic text is accented. This means that according to the Masoretes, the word has its own independent accent. The Masoretes therefore evidently construed the word as an absolute. By absolute, he means it's not connected to the word bara, which follows. And that means the traditional translation, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, is the proper one. And as I previously stated, there are other arguments used to argue for translating Genesis 1:1 as in the beginning when God created the heavens and the earth, but they all rest upon connecting barashit, that's in the beginning, with bara, which is create. And you just can't do that, according to the Masoretic text. And what I found over the years is that those who propose the modern translation tend to leave this inconvenient truth out. Now next week, we'll look at a third reason why I believe something is lost in the modern translation of Genesis 1:1, and that's where we'll pick it up. If this lesson's helped you, please share it with a friend, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube channel, or check out our Sunday morning live podcast on either Apple or Spotify. And hey, if you haven't yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, please stop and do that. It will help us greatly. I hope to see you next week.